For today's cup of coffee.
Cup of coffee.
The energies have shifted. Oh, God.
And it's fucked up.
Yeah. It's one of those, I've had these really interesting days that have been better days than I have had in a very long time. And found, as far as Enigma, Enigma from like the 90s and stuff, some really cool videos that they did.
Yeah. They had some really awesome videos. Now, there was only one out of all of them that was like, eh.
Yeah.
But the rest of them are really good.
Very surrealistic. It was very much like watching the movie Legend.
Love surrealism.
Yeah. And it was cool as far as they had some of the people, the body paint where that one lady looked like part of the tree. Mm-hmm. And it was just this dreamy, cool essence. And then it kind of shifted. And it wasn't cool no more. And I've noticed, even as far as on X, some of the people that post regularly and stuff, and it's not, I don't follow that many people because I'm selective, and that they didn't post their usual amount of content.
Yeah, that is true. And that's a lot of people today. I don't know. It's even doll Twitter is slow.
Mm-hmm. What's that Earth energy? Robert Phoenix had put that it was Taurus. And so that is Earth sign.
For a water sign with a bunch of air signs. Mm-hmm. That is not fun. That is not.
Yep.
No.
Because I got fire in mine, and maybe that's what it was. It was just like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, you can be chill during it. No.
Because whenever other people were having their chill times and my world was still blowing the fuck up, I was just like, okay, I need to be audience every now and then.
Yeah. There's nothing. Hey, being audience is fun. It is nice just to sit and watch the show.
Well, yeah. But we have
Sometimes
noticed,
it depends
as far
on what
as
you're witnessing,
people getting very aggravated, irritable. You even had gone to the bank today and said that there was somebody in there yelling and going on.
Oh, she was full on she was not happy. And I literally asked the bank teller, I was like, are y'all getting verbally assaulted in there right now?
Yeah.
Do I need to come in there and shoo someone out?
Well, I don't and she said that it was just maybe somebody just venting.
No.
Was it towards them or just the situation in general?
She didn't say what it was. I just asked if they were getting verbally assaulted, and she's like, no. And I'm like, all right.
Okay. Yeah, I know that I had called this morning, and because that they didn't answer the phone for a while, there were only 2 of them working in there today, and I said, y'all are swamped, aren't you? And she's like, yes. And I'm like, okay, this is a situation, and it was very easy to resolve. I try not to be one of those people.
Oh, she was cussing up a storm, all that. I don't know if she was on the phone trying to figure shit out or what, but
she could have took it outside.
The fact that you could hear her from outside.
Mm-hmm. You were in the drive-thru.
Yeah.
And so
that's pretty thick glass anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. That's crazy. I think that glass is bulletproof. I think it's required by law to be bulletproof.
Yeah.
So interesting. And as far as different people dealing with this, and we were discussing earlier the difference between surrealism and which I love surrealism art, and I never did go back and look up the category that Hieronymus Bosch was in, because he was the one that did some really weird. I mean, he was way before Salvador Dali and stuff. I love Salvador Dali, but this was very small things that you had to really study the painting for a while, and you've got to wonder. It's like, wonder what kind of drugs they had back in that time, because drugs have always been around.
Have you studied like Mark Ryden's surrealism art?
No, I have not. Some of the more modern artists I have not.
He did the cover for Clear Hearts, Great Flowers,
Yes,
and
you've spoken of him quite often.
and Scarling. He's done quite a few covers for Scarling.
Right.
A lot of meat is
Yeah.
involved.
Yeah.
A lot of pastels. He recently did a collaboration with Barbie, and they were so pretty. They were so pretty, and they fit right along with his style too.
Well, that's a good thing. But he has, and it's one of the it's very stylized. As far as the heads are usually larger than the bodies, and the eyes. Mm-hmm. Not who was it that did where they had the ginormous eyes?
I do not know that artist. I don't remember, but there was even a movie made about it. It was this lady. She made the paintings, and her husband stole the work and claimed it as his own.
Isn't that horrible?
Yeah.
That somebody would do that. Bosch was actually a Dutch painter, and he died in 1516.
Oh, wow.
And so it just says
That's been a
early
while.
Netherland-ish painting school. Let's make that word a little harder for people in mountain speak here.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really. It just says periods was Renaissance and early Netherlandish painting. I didn't make that word up. That's actually there on the wiki thing. And it's, but that's the style that it's called. Very detailed. This is the one that had like the egg-looking things on the legs and little creatures in there, and you had ears and.
I would
Very
have to,
bizarre.
I would have to see it to recognize it.
Oh, you would. If you saw it, you would know automatically that what I'm talking about.
Yeah, because once again, she's got the computer in front of her, and
I
I don't
do.
got nothing.
Well, you could have something. You've got a cell phone over there. But his work was, like I said, predated Surrealism. Mm-hmm. And we were talking about this art style and stuff that they're calling Dreamcore. And it's not.
Yeah.
It's totally different. And in any art movement, art is very fluid as far as how it works and stuff. But everything inspires someone else. That's how everything works.
Yeah. But Dreamcore, it's very much similar. It's adjacent to the original book of Alice in Wonderland. And the original Wizard of Oz. Because that was nightmarish in a lot of ways.
Sure, I can see that. Those damn flying monkeys were certainly the stuff of nightmares.
Yeah.
Still are. Even as an adult, those were creepy little bastards. That's all you can say. It's like,
Did you watch Return to Oz? That was one of the books, and they made
I think I did at one
the
point.
movie in the 80s or something like that.
Seems like, was that the one where you had the witch where she would switch out heads or faces or something like that?
Yeah, she had glass cases, and they were heads. She was planning on taking Dorothy's.
Yeah.
And there was this one, it wasn't really a scare. I don't know what he was. He's called Jack. He had a pumpkin head. Mm-hmm. And the Wheelers, that was her version of the flying monkeys.
Okay, now I know
they would literally, on all fours, they would wheel themselves or something like that.
That's crazy. Well, I know they had there in the Wiz that it was almost like biker gang type things that were the flying monkeys, that they were motorcycles.
Yeah.
Sort of morphed into the machine.
And they were disturbing.
They were disturbing.
Yeah.
There was a lot of imagery in the Wiz that was very nightmarish.
Surrealism is very much nightmarish in a lot of ways. But at the same time, it can be really, really cool and fun and pleasant.
It can, but the Dreamcore has that liminal essence
I
to
just
it
smacked
also.
the mic
Yeah,
because
he's over
there's
there
a
smacking.
gnat.
And the Dreamcore, instead of it being fantasy like, which was sort of like the Enigma videos, it goes in the realm of fantasy.
No, it's very much. It has fantasy qualities to it.
It's very liminal,
Yeah.
and
Well,
so a
it's
lot
it's
of it
heavily
is very
rooted.
dystopian.
It's heavily rooted within liminal spaces
Right.
and nostalgia.
Right.
Heavily. And it's basically looking through the lens of a dream world.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very odd. Very odd.
It is, and even as far as that distortion, the music that they were using on some of it, it's like the fading in and fading out, and it's kind of warped and
Yeah, let me see if I can find.
again very very plasticky. There was a horror
These
story.
are free use, so I can use them.
There was a horror story one time about this kid that woke up and looked in the mirror and had done something, and she found out that she was able to. Her face had turned into plastic.
Now, what
And
you're
that
talking about a
she-
short film?
No, this is a book a short story that I read. God knows where it was, and I've read lots over the years. But she had like pulled at her nose and misshapen her whole face because she didn't realize what was going on.
Oh, yeah, there was a short film based on that.
And then the whole family to realize that all of them had turned plastic.
That's spooky.
It is.
Like, what happened that they turned plastic?
There was never any explanation for it other than it just happened.
That sounds like some Junji Ito stuff.
Sort of.
Did you see the short film where literally this girl got plastic surgery? It was an Asian short film. Got plastic surgery, but her face wasn't real. It was plastic. It was a mask, basically.
Mm.
And for her to break it
Oh, wow.
purposefully. Yeah. That's all I'm going to give.
And I think that part of this has to do with our world today, because where there are wonderful aspects, there are a lot of very nightmarish qualities.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you think about it, plastic is a relatively recent thing.
Yeah. It is very much a recent thing. I mean, when was it developed? I think it was developed in the
Let's see.
40s?
I'm not sure.
30s or 40s?
Well, you had the Tupperware thing.
Well, that wasn't developed until 1950 something. Maybe it was I think plastic like really boomed in the 50s. Maybe.
It's like at that time when you're trying to type in on something on the search bar and you're like, form, words, how do I do?
Liminal music. This is going back to that real fast. Dreamcore music. This is very much an example. Let me rewind it.
That's one of the. That just sounds sort of harpsichord-ish.
Yeah.
That some of the other ones were, like I said, very warped and very distorted and fade in and fade out. And 1907 was when plastics, came into being.
1907. Okay.
And as far as that's just been a huge thing, what to do with them, how to repurpose them. And now the newest nightmare is that everybody has like microplastics in their system. And what is that doing to us?
Oh, it's been integrated into us at this point.
Yeah.
We consume so many microplastics.
Yeah. And who knows? That is the stuff of nightmares. So you can see easily how that somebody who is creative is trying to process our world today.
Mm-hmm. Very much.
And something that And even why is everything micro whatever? Why can't it be just full on?
I have no idea.
Why
It either is
little
or it
tinies,
isn't.
little tiny whatever's it is.
That's people nitpicking shit.
It is. That's
Oh.
petty shit. That honestly, it's like, oh my God, what have you done to my history on this? I look through here and it's just like, that warping. Almost like you're between realms.
Yeah. Well, that's very much the dream world.
Right.
It feels... I mean, this is a good example of what some dreams feel like.
When you wake up and you look back on them. And it's just... To be able... Some people sleep to that. I think you have slept to things like that before.
Oh, I have. Yeah.
I don't find that soothing. I find Enya works really well.
Well, I've only slept to it like a couple of times because every single time I do, it does cause weirder dreams.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because it's a matter of our perception is being warped and pulled, just like the plastic face of that girl. Mm-hmm. That's how we feel that our reality is being morphed right now, against our wills a lot of times.
Yeah.
And so
ain't fun.
We were talking earlier also as far as the retro things. I understand very much why there is a push for nostalgia. People want a simpler time when things simply were.
Well, that nostalgia is turning into, or that push for nostalgia is turning into a push to reject current tech and evolving tech. Mm-hmm. Because we don't want a dystopian future. We want stuff we want a time that was simple.
Yes.
Like, you still had tech, but everything was more just simple. You could still easily go outside and all that.
Well,
you didn't have a phone on you that was that
Right.
would distract you 24/7.
Right.
Keep you up at night just doom scrolling.
I think that the, concerns of people are very valid.
Yeah.
And it used to be that people had ethics. And there has been a huge push to get rid of that. And it was like Lizard King dude talking about humans being hackable animals.
It's like, fuck you, dude.
We're not animals.
Exactly. We are not animals. We are human beings.
Absolutely. And it's like,
animals cannot build and create like we can.
Right. Right. We have souls. We have value. We have purpose. Mm-hmm. And so if somebody is high up telling people these things and that they think they're one of the ones that's the controllers of the rest of humanity, there's a severe problem.
Very much. Very much.
Because I don't know that he included himself in that description of animal.
I don't know that he would consider himself human. We don't know what he
is.
is.
There is, possibility he be lizard people, for real. But anyhow.
But these sociopaths,
yeah,
or something like that, they don't view others as valuable. They don't view other humans as, well, just that. Human.
They view them as tools.
Yes.
And that's my question. If you've got somebody that is like that is devoid of the ability to have empathy, compassion, love, forgiveness, all the traits that we view as coming from God, can you say that person is truly human? Just because they look like a human. I've asked this of trained professionals. Of course, I've asked trained professionals some questions that have stumped them.
Well, see, that's an odd thing, because some people that are diagnosed that way, they do show love. They do show compassion.
Then they're not a true sociopath.
To certain people. Like, for example, there's this one woman, she was diagnosed as something, and she has love for her child, but it's not I don't know how she described it exactly because this has been so long, so I'm not going to be able to describe it accurately. But she did have love for that child. She did not want that child to get hurt. But there was something else to that. I don't remember what she said. I really don't.
Was she willing to sacrifice for that child?
No.
Right. Just because somebody throws the word love around does not mean that it has the same definition to them as it does to other people.
Mm-hmm.
And that leads us into the other thing that we were going to discuss. And this individual, and it's like, I don't like as far as, you feel like you're narking on somebody. And you're snitching on somebody because they said something that I didn't like. There's a lot of people that say things that I don't like. I say things that other people don't like, and they let me know in no uncertain terms. And this individual, the only reason I watched this video, because I've watched quite a few of his videos over the past few years, and every time it's just like, he's an example of what not to do. And was discussing about, it's called a rage ritual. Should I just go ahead and say who it was?
Yeah. Call him out.
All right. Matt Walsh.
Yeah.
And this is a person that his whole shtick is that he's supposed to be normal. And that he is supposed to be the example of how to be. And he's very proud of being Catholic and different things like that. And he was the one that had made the statement quite some time back that he did not believe that mental illness existed. And I'm paraphrasing because I don't have the video in front of me. But Jordan Peterson took the time to sit down and talk with this man. And Walsh also touts himself as being this big brain intellectual.
He's an educated idiot.
Yes. And then he goes and he debates and he does this and everything. And when Peterson sat there and was trying to explain to the man, you could see that Walsh's eyes had glazed over.
Yeah.
Because just the question that he had posed, is mental illness real, was so offensive to so many people. And Jordan Peterson was explaining the complexity of mental illness. And Walsh is one of these, he is, in my honest opinion, because I'm still allowed to have that, he is a pompous, self-righteous ass.
Yeah.
Sanctimonious.
Well,
he is the type of person that claims to follow Christ that has none of the traits of Christ. He is the type of quote-unquote Christian that drove me to paganism years ago.
Yes. He's absolutely full of shit.
And so his video today that I had watched...
He's not a kind person.
Approximately 3 or 4 minutes of, because that was all I needed. He had used a term that I had not heard before, and it was called a rage ritual. And of course, he was berating these women that were taking part in this.
Mm-hmm.
And because he doesn't understand it. And he's like, oh, it's adults throwing a temper tantrum, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, buddy, it's your choice to let any kind of rage or whatever it is, because this man obviously is not Zen.
We don't know how he acts, and he could be...
No, we don't.
He could be saying all this shit and then be acting in a totally different way outside of the camera.
When people suppress emotions, it comes out one way or another.
Yeah.
And you can learn to control them rather than allowing them to control you.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't, that builds up. And a lot of times in men especially, that ends up in heart attack and stroke.
Yes. And that rage ritual, those women are getting that out.
Yes.
That is a good
It was healthy.
Huh?
It was healthy.
It was healthy because it wasn't violent towards another person.
No, it wasn't.
They weren't screaming at a person.
No. And
berating them.
I think they had gone over
They were definitely venting.
Yeah, it was either Ireland or someplace like that this person had this retreat. Yes, it did cost quite a bit of money. Okay, if these women had the money to spend on this and they found value in it, they weren't hurting themselves, they weren't hurting anyone else, so what?
Right.
What's the difference between them doing that and somebody going out here and buying a yacht?
Exactly.
And so
Don't
the
do
women,
the ayahuasca retreats. Now that's not cool.
well, that's people are.
I mean, but that's up
misusing
to you.
But the thing is, he was talking about how that these people, some of the ones that were interviewed, they were like, women are not allowed to express this in society today.
It's true.
It was true. And the fact of his response to this proved what the women had said.
Yes, he is very much one of those misogynistic people in a lot of ways.
He's just an ass.
Yes. That's why I said he's
yeah.
not a nice person.
No.
He's not a kind person.
And,
he's not compassionate.
And as somebody that, and this is true, we're speaking of women, but this also includes men, that when you allow painful, hurtful emotions to build, if you have never allowed those to come out, to clear out of your system, that causes disease.
Mm-hmm.
In Reiki, it's a matter of, okay, in the spirit body. And if you can't clear it out of the spirit body, out of the psyche, all that stuff, eventually it will end up in the physical body. That's how that works.
Yeah, it's not woo-woo shit.
And when I was able to take martial arts, that was one of the things, when I had some bad stuff happen, hell yes, I had an appropriate place to go in. I would beat the hell out of those heavy bags. It was a matter of being able to, with the ki, which is, the battle cry and stuff like that. I got a lot of stuff. I worked through a lot of stuff in that dojo. And for people who don't want to take martial arts or whatever it was, this type of thing, this is not a new therapy, and so if these women, I think it's a very healthy thing for them to find a group of people that they feel comfortable and confident in, that's not going to judge them, to have a safe location where they can go out and scream and beat the ground with a stick and just wear themselves out and get that over. And then that it had shown a picture where one of the ladies had laid there on the ground, which is grounding, that connection with the earth. One of the other women had come and they had sort of fanned her, which was part of the ritualistic thing.
Mm-hmm.
There was nothing wrong with that.
No. I mean, seriously, that is a healthy way to do it.
Yeah.
And it is so cathartic.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what people need.
Years ago,
I'm in full support of it.
Sure. They had, it was called primal scream therapy. And this is where you get into what they call pop psychology. And pop psychology does exist. It's like this one tries this. You don't have, it's not one single answer. It's what works for the individual. If something doesn't work, okay, go on to something else. Maybe something else is more appealing to you. I have told clients before, if you need to scream, get you a pillow and scream into the pillow.
Yes.
Or go out in the car driving and scream. I have done that lots.
Don't do it with the windows down.
Not with the windows down.
I done that.
Yeah.
Everybody in the holler has heard me.
And guess what? Nobody said anything about it.
No, that's why they stay away from us.
No, that's because we got it's like those weird goth people. No, everybody up here, seriously, they just mind their own business. But I thought, this is what's wrong with society today, as far as to have that amount of That's not self-control. That's suppression.
Yes.
That people are supposed, and he's one of these, just suck it up and go on. You can only do that for so long.
Yeah. It's
and
like
we
it's shoving emotions in a jar, and at a certain point, that jar breaks.
I wonder, on a scale, where he would be with sociopathic traits. Maybe that's the reason he doesn't understand some of these things.
Maybe. I don't know if he's I don't think it's necessarily that he doesn't know. I think he flat out just doesn't want to. That's the impression that I'm getting from him. He just doesn't want to.
Right. And that is the problem on all perspectives. You've got different people unwilling to see or hear the other side. Mm-hmm. The other person. We're not talking about sides. We're talking about people.
Yes.
Everybody has a story. But that was just kind of part of this, energy that we've entered into. I don't know that it's explosive, but it's sort of very confrontational.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it is definitely a very confrontational time right now.
And, I was like, hey, I've had several good days. I've really, really enjoyed. I've been in my bubble, and I needed to be in a bubble for a while because I have been out there on the front lines in the trenches for years.
Yes, you needed to rest. Flat out, you needed to rest.
And
just do what you needed to do and have fun.
Yes. But it's like for people like this man who has millions of people that listen to him, and I don't know, maybe he's one of these that he likes being the perceived bad guy. How about doing what Christ told us to do, though, as far as ministering to other people?
Yes. Yes.
So, there's a lot of people that are walking wounded. Oh my God, so many people. And it radiates off of them.
That's like, I had ministered to someone this past weekend. And I told them one of the key things to healing, and it's usually one of the first steps, is forgiveness.
Absolutely.
And she's like, I have to forgive?
Mm-hmm.
I have to forgive? And it's like, not for their sake, for your sake.
You don't have to forgive the evil that was done to you.
No.
You forgive the person that allowed themselves to be used to commit the evil for whatever reason that they were so sick or twisted or whatever it was, that they would do something or make those horrible choices.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not an easy process.
No.
But and that was a hard time. That's the reason that within Christian it says to hate the sin but love the sinner.
That's
that
what
you hate the evil that was done, but to forgive and have compassion on the person that would do that.
Yeah. Trying to do that intoxicated too is not fun. It's not easy.
Now, you had, as far as people being inflammatory and stuff, even last night, you just playing online games and people were off the rails.
Okay, can I be explicit on here?
Yeah, if you, I don't know if there's any need to be.
Okay. Well, I had one literally tell me that they hope I die alone. The same person was throwing a multitude of other things at me.
Well, just being hateful.
Just hateful.
Hateful.
By another person, I got called a couple slurs, along with very similar to what the other person said. And it's like, I hope you die. Go die alone.
What a horrible thing. And it's like, were these children?
I don't know. Don't care. But I clapped back and I was like, with that attitude, you certainly will.
And it's one of those that, they drug the ugly out of you.
Yes, and I hate the fact that I allowed myself to get that way.
But you it could have been so much worse. What you did was very minimum, and that speaks highly of you.
I called
Because,
one.
like I said, a lot of people,
I called that first one ramen noodle ass hair.
well, that's
With the tacky ass beanie.
That was the character.
Yeah, tacky ass beanie.
But when it's even on that type of thing, and the internet does this, and it's just like Matt Walsh, he can sit and say whatever it is. Did he ever sit and talk to any of these women that went to this retreat?
No.
Because a lot
hasn't.
of people, it doesn't matter what does it matter whether they had the money or how they got the money or whatever it was? You've got so many people that are carrying around trauma from their childhood, so much other stuff. Who the hell is he to pass judgment on how somebody heals?
Exactly. Maybe he's one of these people that will just hold on to his trauma until his deathbed. Because some people do that. They don't want to let go of that anger, of that hatred, the resentment, whatever.
And it's like he is not concerned about trying to present his arguments in a logical way. It's always in some kind of, clickbaity is it. That's it. He is one of these people that creates and spreads controversy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's not, that is not what my book says.
No. That's not what the Bible says at all.
So I don't get it, but it's one of those that when you've got somebody that's spreading hatred and division and strife, you on the other team.
Mm-hmm.
You working for the devil.
Yes.
And it's not, this is why it's, as far as being discerning, and I don't care how clean cut he appears in his button down shirt and all this bunch of stuff. And it's like, dude, you got hate in your heart. You got a problem.
Yeah. And there are so many people like him.
So,
it's just and that's when you lift them up in prayer.
Absolutely. And it's one of those, God open his eyes while there's time.
Open his eyes, open his mind, open his heart.
Absolutely. To see the suffering of other people.
Mm-hmm.
You are not here to judge. Not at all. We're not qualified.
No.
Final thoughts, kid?
Oh, don't stroke out.
Prayers for him. He's supposed to go have the kidney stones broken up today.
Yeah, and I'm possibly getting sick. So,
well,
this ain't fun.
It's like that. He's got sinus issues, but...
Oh, they hurt.
Well,
and mucus is building up, and it's not fun.
We'll give you some more guaiacin so that you don't have to have this procedure put off any longer. Because, my God, you have suffered with those kidney stones for about 2 years now.
Yeah.
So prayers, please.
It ain't fun.
And is that final thoughts?
Certain person in my life finally found out what it was like to have a kidney stone.
Well, sometimes God lets people see what other people are going through.
Mm-hmm.
If you've had experiences with paranormal or supernatural encounters with UFOs, aliens, cryptids, you can send us an email, cupofcoffeewithscream@gmail.com. Looking forward to your comments on this. If you want to sit there and go, Orlando, honey, no, you totally wrong about Matt Walsh. He's a fine, upstanding human being. He's close. We think he's going to be up for sainthood. If that's your view on that, that's fine. And, we will have a civil discussion.
Mm-hmm.
As far as we don't call people ugly words.
I don't think Matt Walsh is willing to listen.
Oh, he wouldn't talk to us. We're beneath him.
Yeah.
I know that. What are we? We're podlings. Podling pirates.
We're fun.
It's like I got 58 years of experience in various and sundry ways and places that he would never dirty himself to go.
Exactly.
Because there's people in need. So.
He's no better than the Pharisees.
Absolutely. Modern day Pharisees.
Mm-hmm.
So.
At least we're spreading love.
We try to. I know where I've been. I can never judge another human being for anything.
And it's like, I know I called him an asshole.
He's
I know,
an
I
asshole.
know I said, like, yeah. Don't wish ill upon the man, though.
No.
I just want God to open his eyes, his mind, and his heart.
He's bringing ill on himself. It says you sow what you reap, what you sow.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people that just because somebody's on hard times, that does not mean they did anything wrong. Don't judge that.
Yeah.
Not qualified. So your final thing here. We've run
That's
way
it.
long on this one.
That's it. That's all I got.
Is to join us on the BitChutes
Prayers.
and Rumbles and the YouTubes and the X, formerly known as Twitters.
Mm-hmm.
He's just sitting there.
Yeah.
It's Warland, COCWS. Is that it?
Yes.
Right.
It is Warland. X, previously known as Twitter. Warland is COCWS. It is like a radio station call sign. Yeah.
Know that you were loved.
What was it that you were going to tweet out earlier?
I don't remember.
Oh, I lost her head.
Oh, yes. That was one of the things about the wee hours of the morning. He's like, Mama, I lost her head. And I'm like, what? What the hell are you talking about? And he's doing repair on an antique doll. And he had taken her head off and had set it on a shelf or something. I couldn't find it. And I'm like,
Set it on a chest of drawers.
These are the things that if you lived near us, you would just randomness
Literally,
shout
it's like,
it out.
Where's her head? Where's her head? And I'm bringing through this sad little headless body. And it's like, we might as well call her Marie Antoinette because she got no head.
He did find it. He did find it. And there are people that do the antique doll restoration, and they can get mega money to do that. But that they also have the money to buy the materials and stuff like that. It's a labor of love for kids.
There are some that do it for money, but there are some do it just to see the smile on the owner's face, and so they don't charge much.
Yeah. Those are the ones that, yeah. Mm-hmm. They give love because they have received love.
Yeah.
You all are loved. Treat other people the way that you would like to be treated. And Lord willing, we'll see you on the next cup.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye. Potato, my sinuses hurt.